Head Peaches 111 and Hunter in a box here casting with you tonight. Who do we think takes this first on here?
Well, given what just happened in the behind the scenes, of unfortunately, scouts will be receiving a half hook penalty because one of the members it was not loaded in on time. So just a simple half hook, not too detrimental. But of course, this is Celestial's pick, so I'm gonna say it goes to Celestial with all those, all the cards kind of stacked against scouts at the moment. Yeah, I think Rhea is definitely going to be feeling pretty good. They don't have, and that also means that there won't be a tie for this set. Sometimes the Demogorgon can be a quote unquote tieable set, but yeah, we're not going to be seeing that today. So yeah, but now we just see Rhea just looking around. We see Wretched Fate. I'm sorry, Wretched Fate on Demogorgon. That's not that it's a bad perk, but I don't normally see that on the Demogorgon. Most of the time we see it on like the A or S tier killers here, Hunter.
Yeah, I mean, well, you don't want to be tunneling out your obsession, that's for sure. We have found somebody else out here, though. It's going to be L5D in chase here, taking chase around the 8 tile and just evading the shred, trying to break all kinds of line of sight just before the window, but will result in a tag as we played a little bit too greedy amongst the pallet and the up resource. So, going to be taking that tag, happy to leave the chase, and we have one chance to do so. As I do say that, we are going to be going straight back onto our tunnel out here, really trying to facilitate the lack of well, the distance that has been created throughout us and Ada Wong, but we are catching them out on the corner spot of Shaq, and we do get the shred there on the side of Ray, who's, again, still just in chase here over at bottom, nice and far away from those top generators, and yeah, just touching up in the build again. Corrupt Intervention, Pain Resonance, and Eruption all being very stock standard stuff, bringing into a Demogorgon set. Honestly, we tend to see Demogorgon being brought in a lot more amongst tiebreakers, not really a picked set per se. So, Celestial being one of those teams that really does like the M1 mind games and the chase killers, Doctor and Demogorgon and all that fun stuff. And all the killers that pretty much have a very simple ability. My god, that's a shred and a half, and that's going to be our Ada L5D on the floor there, popping the gen in our face too over at 9. So it breaks up a little bit of that mid spot in the map here. So it's going to be pretty good for the survivors later on down in the trial. Now we're going to try to slow down the match just a little bit here. Ray going to be picking up Ada and hooking us straight into the corner of 7, and then straight back onto that patrol over towards top side, where potentially we can hold on to those 3 generators, 1 main and 11.
Ooh, that is a nice 3-gen. It's just always the go-to 3-gen. And sometimes 3-gen bomb can be nice, but you just can't go wrong with the top side. Unfortunately, though, for Rhea, we did see the Wretched Fate light right next to the downed survivor and right next to the hook. So I'm sure the survivors have called it out. This is totem. Here's where it's at. Just unhook me and get me as far away from it so you guys can cleanse it. And yeah, we just see Rhea just content with applying the eruptions, just kind of looking around because, yeah, getting the tunnel out ASAP on Demogorgon, because Demogorgon is a strong chase killer, but in the grand scheme of things, they are an outable killer. We do see Macro over here trying to come in for the save, but they're not quite able to stealth out Rhea, and looks like we're just going to be happy with taking this chase a little bit, or pressure this gen at 11. We see a little bit of progress on it. Yeah, we see a lot of survivors. Holy crap, we see Millie over here hopping into main. We see Macro trying to make their way over to 1, but as you mentioned earlier, we have a nice topside 3-gen, so even though L5D got off the hook and we probably won't see him again, they'll get the reset. We have a pain res right here behind main in the 3-gen. Rhea's in such a good position right now, and we even see Mill off to the 11 side of main. I think Rhea saw him too, but just happy with placing some portals around. And yeah, we do see that reset onto L5D, but going right back over to the hook. Maybe they suspected that they healed under hook and maybe trying to get some a couple of injuries before heading back. I mean, I would assume Rhea would want to head back, especially for that 3-gen top side. That's something that could be holdable and maybe become a 4K out, but nice pallet stun onto smashing this pallet right onto Rhea's head, but it's not one to commit 7 quite yet. Looks like we are just gonna go right back to the top side, trying to prevent Macro from being reset and hidden away. But now we do have 2 potential tunnels, but honestly with the Demogorgon, it might just be good to go for a hello. Okay, good to see you guys. Hey Mill, what's going on, Macro? They did reset under hook, and we did get the M1 onto Macro, but we might be able to follow up with the M2, but no, we do get the pallet down instead. But this time we really kind of catching out a lot of people out of place a little bit, but I don't think there's any other resources that we can make it to, but we get the head on. Get down, Mr. President. I got you, Macro. That will give him enough distance to make it down to the bottom side of the map, which is huge. That will make it so the other survivors can work away at that top side 3-gen. Yeah, they're just holding W away, trying to make it over to a stronger resource. I think they might make it over to Shaq, maybe. They might, unless this dash hits, it does connect. So we will see the second hook on to Macro. But that chase did last a lot longer, and this is not a pain risk, so there's probably, I would assume there'd be a lot of gen pressure on the board, and especially that one at 11. The 11 gen did have a good amount of progress, and that pops that will get rid of the top side 3 gen. But there's still this bottom side that could be used as a 3 gen, but I think that, oh, yep, I was about to say the top side would have been preferred, but yeah, no, that we just saw 11 gen pop, and we go into the residual manifest blind with 7 with the flashlight, going for another dash. No, not quite able, reading the palette just a little bit. We don't want to give a free tag to it yet, but we are greeting the heck out of this, and Rhea does not want any of that. We are going back to Macro because we want to get that tunnel up, turn this to a 3v1, and possibly break it down to a 4K type result here, Hunter.
Yeah, that's right. We did see, 11 pop over towards that 3 gen, so it's all done and dusted. But I do believe we still have one here over at bot. Look at that. We do have 4 Shaq and 6, or sorry, that is 7. Yeah, 4 Shaq and 7. We can just watch 4 regress just in front of us. We aren't able to actually do that. We are going to get the tag there, intercepting the trade. This will be the trade. This is 2 taps here, and a down even at the cost of just the tunnel out being off the hook. Now we have to make it worth our while. Can we last a bit longer here? We do get 1 done as well, all in the meantime. Still following up around 3, we do have the endurance status effect to buy us some time, and we did have like a really good chase over at top beforehand, and this one just is not going to be enough. We are just going to be going down here over at that 3 pallet, not quite making it. So it's going to be our tunnel out of the game at 2 generators remaining. Is looking like 4K territory, looking pretty dangerous for our survivors, but at least they did get L5D up and healthy. So ideally in this scenario, if you're our killer, you want to be finding 7, who is currently injured. You take advantage of that, and if they're caught over at bottom, it's just a hook in the middle of the 3 gens. That will be 4K once solidified, unless the killer just fumbles the bag entirely. We do see Mill rotate off the generator towards top, and now Ray doesn't really have any real reason to leave the middle of everything. He's just in the guts, and he can just kind of scare the survivors off of the generators, all in the meantime just watching the generators slowly regress. Get his eruption kicks in too for any chases that go on for a little too long. Does vault the window there, catching out L5D off guard. Does have to use his R and L wall, and does actually win the stun off of Ping, and Mill has disconnected. Oh no, that is horrible stuff, and it's looking like 4K2. There's nothing we can do about that, unfortunately. That is just the way things pan out, as we are way too far away into the game right now. And we do see scratch marks here wrapping around the outside of Shaq. I was saying we were at least going to be able to play for the 4K1 and potentially just maybe high stages, but with that DC, that's just flipped the game entirely on its head. Now it's just going to be really hard for the survivors to pull back even just 1 more generator. But Ray going to be playing around these mind games here, really trying to win that 50. Not really quite falling for it, how Lara Croft is, and this is a type chase that you need in a scenario like this. It might even prompt Ray to leave, but he does see the killer instinct over at 5 or 4, sorry. So he knows he can just chase this comfortably. He knows there's no other spot in the map where our survivors would be working those generators. It's going to be our Lara Croft going down just in the side of Shaq, and it's going to interrupt 4 as well. But we have pre-left it, I do believe. I'm not too sure where this survivor would have gone. There's just absolutely no pressure. And yeah, we're just going over at 5, and we're just going to get this match done and dusted here. It's just horrible. I don't know, the game, the internet connections, like everybody else in the trial is still fine. It's just this game tends to be wacky sometimes, I guess, but that's going to be a hook there over at corner 5. 7 on the floor in Shaq for the 4K2, and at the cost of a penalty as well. Our killer does have the 4K3. There's no way we can actually tie this set because of the fact that they took too long to set up their match. Even though you think you have the upper hand picking your set, these guys are just well versed in it. Anyway, the survival lineup this time around is going to be the likes of Cahill, Ray, Alex G, and Zalapi, which tends to be the stock standard throughout this entire tournament. It's basically their 4 main men for the job, I guess. And L5D going to be spawning in the map over at bottom here. Going to be placing his portals very nice and early. Now, he'll want to take advantage of the first chase and make it quick because, oh no, please don't tell me we're having connection issues, because he is just standing still, and it does seem that he's on 120 MS. I'm not too sure, considering the fact that our survivors of last game did have to play on the other servers, on Singapore, and we're on Singapore again. I think we should be on Mumbai, L5D. Gonna be taking the chase here. or more towards the central part of the map as we do take the break of the generator, giving a little bit of notice here. I think he knows we are on Singapore servers, so yeah, this probably will result in a disconnect and a restart, as I think it probably should. But I'll continue casting until that happens and the referees make up their mind in the background. Do see scratch marks leading towards the middle of the map here, over towards main. It is going to be, I think, in the distance that is our Lara Croft, if I saw that correctly. I'm not too sure, but going back towards the middle here, we are really caught in the middle of everything, and I don't know if we're actually taking this match a little too seriously, but he does have a few chances to leave the first chase and chase for something a little bit more in his favor. This is going to be the Lara Croft, so whoever will chase him just on the backside of main was not Lara Croft. I do sincerely apologize, but going to be taking that break onto the pallet there over at bottom 6, and we do have 8 to be using. It's going to be fairly strong too, as this is a jungle gym that's going to be just dropped into our killer's face, and we've bumped into the box there and collided with it, and that's going to be just a little bit of distance sacrifice there as we do make to 5 for a favorable death location. Really trying to lunge for everything. L5D playing around the mind games here. The short filler does win the 50 there, though. That's going to result in the first tag. We've opened the shred for some reason. I think we should have just went for the M1 all day, every day, and that's going to be the window vault for Lara Croft. Bamboozle the window. Wait, didn't bring Bamboozle. We're just vaulting the window. Okay, I apologize. But as for build, we've switched it up a little bit. Batteries included has been brought in other than Wretched Fate, which is a good perk because, like, you know, obviously in amongst these Demogorgon sets, you will find yourself in a position where you're just forced to chase around the dun generators, and there's not really much traversability after doing so, or at least not traversability that's going to take you a short time to get back to where you need to be. So if you're going to spend that much time in an area that doesn't really matter too much, you'll want that extra 5%. And look what we got here, an extra 5% where we make that shred, and that's going to be the down, the pickup as well. L5D, after getting this pain resonance hook, could potentially take control of the match again once more. This is not really a good spot to be going down, especially since we were taking chase around bottom all that time, and we did get a reset in the background there, so only really one generator to be worried about, and it's going to be raised about 40%. I think it's over at top.
Yeah, I think you are correct. And yeah, this is, if this is any other win con, this is a great gen spread to have. Sorry, I'm just looking around this. You got one main 11 and this gen at 10. This is a great setup. So, oh man, if they didn't have the penalty, or if the survivors didn't disconnect, this would be looking pretty solid. Not quite able to connect with that dash onto Zlappy here. It does look like, sorry, I was just kind of looking in the background. It looks like that we will just be happy with playing this game forward. So, given the win con, it kind of makes sense even with the ping. It would, I mean, again, anything can happen. We've seen it, a lot of different results previously, but I think they're just happy with playing this and going to the other side. Unless of course, L5D just absolutely pops off, connects all these shreds, and gets the painters going. But looking at the left side of the screen, Kahill's gen is about to pop. Ray's gen is about to pop as well. And yeah, it's about to be, and like I said, you can't tie it either. So this is, L5D's definitely got to wrap this up. We got to get this dash onto them, get the painters going, maybe apply some more eruptions and keep it going. But yeah, now Ray pops that gen. With that gen pop, that is the set win for Celestial. But of course, he'll play it out to get the best win con possible. Going into the second set, you want to keep the mental up. You want to keep the high spirits going into your pick, which is really nice going. I'm a huge fan of Ghoul on Sup 1. I'm a huge fan of the Ghoul, just the screaming man throwing himself around at mock speeds. But before we go over there, of course, we will finish this one out. L5D looking around the bomb side of the map, trying to see who is coming in for the save. We did see a reset in the background onto Alex. Yeah, just cleaning up house, cleaning some of the pallets up a little bit. We do see, was this Alex here? Sorry, I didn't see which skin it was. No, this is Cahill over here at Shack. This is a great resource to use. Not quite able to flare it out. We get the dash onto them. Great connect. Trying to use Shack to the best of our ability. We go through the window, and ooh, nice W key over to this kind of rock pallet filler. But can we win the 50-50? No, we do not. We get the M1, and with the batteries included, that I think that allowed them to get that M1 in the first place. So very well played by L5D and getting another pain res on the board. So yeah, L5D not looking too bad. We see Reagan the reset onto Zlappy right now. Reset underhook. Hello, what the heck are we doing? We're following the solo queue survivor book here. What the heck is going on? We hit the injury onto Slappy, trying to make our way over to 5. We missed the window. What are we doing? Slappy, I think they were looking behind them too much and just completely missed the window at the TNL. So that will result in the down, and L5D will hook them on this bottom mid hook. And yeah, I mean, even the gen spread is still looking pretty solid. I think that we could still possibly see a 4K1 to 4K0 type condition for L5D, but we did, because I mean, with finding Alex here, and we're spreading the injuries. We injure get Ray injured as well. We could be chilling, going for the dash onto Alex here, greeting this pallet like no tomorrow. Holy crap! Look at the absolute greed on this person. Oh my gosh, swinging through it as well. Oh my gosh, what are we doing? Alex and L5D goes back to the hook. We want to get that tunnel out, and yeah, this is absolutely insane. Yeah, looks like we are just happy with camping this because there's no one else that can go in for the trade except Ray, unless Alex and Cahill can reset and one of them goes for it. But I mean, the win con's already been met, so I don't think they're too bent out of shape of not getting the unhook onto Slappy here, Hunter.
Yeah, they're just probably going to let Slappy die. Ray's got some pressure over towards top. Hook in the middle for L5D, just going to be patrolling this area, even puts a portal down just to make for a quick teleport once we do eventually secure the death onto Slappy. Missing a few skill checks in the background, I did quite hear, but I'm going to be taking the break here over towards mid-9. I'm not too sure what's going to be popping here. I think 1, because that would be the... Oh, no. Was it main? No. Yeah, it's main. Okay, fair enough. I thought it would be 1. Okay, I stand corrected. However, we are going to be committing back onto Cahill around the mid side of the map. Does get the pallet drop there. He's going to try and unzone himself towards bottom, maybe, potentially. Or even... Okay, even 1. I'm not too sure what the pressure's looking like on the map, but I guess we're going to have to chase of our life as we do drop the filler on the wrong side. We do manage to win 50 as we did mind game ourselves. L5D going for an ambitious swing, not quite working out in his favor. Going for a little bit of wacky mind games and does manage to win the 50-50 just before the T, and that's going to be our survivor, Cahill, down. The flashlight save too to save the... And they're up and running away again as we do blind in once more. The chain blind's coming in this time around from Captain Ray, and we're going to be playing around the mind games here over at the T-wall. We do see scratch marks leading towards mid as well. And that's going to interrupt the generator here over at 9 and force the survivors back into a spot where it is all the way over at bottom. A nice 2-2 split going on there where we see Alex G just rotate towards 10, and we see Cahill all the way back down over at bottom being the injured survivor. Getting hit through that pallet is just disgusting, but going for an ambitious break on it too. L5D going to be putting down that portal. And then just opting not to chase Alex G then, trying to cut off that once upon a time tunnel out, potentially over at 5. No, we've baited everybody in the trial, I guess, as we do see over here. There were scratch marks over at mid-9 as we do take the break. There's going to be another eruption kick on this gen here. We do have the extra 5% speed after batteries included, so as we do break the pallet here, that's going to zone us into 11, where we do have a nice filler to be working with here, but we're going to be trying to force the survivor to drop it on the incorrect side. However, going for a swing on our incorrect side is going to result in the stun, and all of a sudden, Alex G has made so much distance toward the out front of main and opts to even greet the pallet there. Why have we swung through it in frustration? I don't understand, but I guess going back towards 9, pushing our Claudette off the generator, I do believe. Oh no, the Claudette's already out of the trial. That was Lappy. This is going to be our V in chase here, who does utilize the shack window, and Ray is going to be just slamming out that far gen over at top as well and popping it in front of our killer's face over at 1, so he's not going to be able to reach that in time, and we do have an extra health state to be working with. Gen pops 1 gate over at 3 and then 1 over at 6. You can start the 1 gate over at 6, but you know what? The killer doing the right thing. A little bit of sportsmanship here, showing them the doorway. He wants to get the next set up and at them on the way, I guess. So what we'll do is, I guess we'll go into a short intermission while we get the next game set up for you guys. We will hopefully get them on. Welcome back, everybody. Finally, we're back. We have settled for Singapore because there is no other way we can get any other server on the board. If we get sent to Mumbai, or thumbs up, that'd be great. You know what? That'd mean the game's working. But on the off chance that we're just being brought into Singapore, which I have gotten clarification we are this time around, we are just going to be running it. So the killer will have to play at 116 MS, as there is no other way. If we would go to EU, be around the same ping for our killer, or potentially a little lower, and then our survivors would just be on way too much to be dealing with. It would not make for a watchable experience here. So we'll just have to sacrifice the 25 MS just for today while the game gets its shit together. However, L5D going to be spawning in the map over towards the top side, going to be rotating here towards bottom over at 5. Let's see scratch marks leading into the filler here, but we are going to be getting that tag just beforehand. No, we're not, and that could potentially be the ping coming in. Oh my god, it is a nasty looking matchup right now as we do pre-drop this pallet. We are going to be trying to rotate off of the pallet, but straight back into the Z wall we go. We are just held hostage at this position. We do have to just win so many 50s just to last a little bit longer, but we have won 2 at the moment, and a Z wall in a dream, and we've won 3. That's 150 bucks. Let's count the 50s. That's 200, and he's ran into the corner of 5, and there's one himself of 50, 250. This man's cashed out right now. Oh, he's won another 300, 350. Stop stopping at the check spot, please, and just get the down. No, that's about 400 you've taken him for all he's worth. As he's gone down into corner 5, well, when we look at the bottom left-hand corner, there is just those 2 generators being worked, none of which are being doubled, I do not believe. Zalapi's gen about 50% of the way, just about, almost 40% more so, but the other one around the same sort of progression rate. We do get the pain resonance to slow the game down on the first generator though, so it's not going to have as much as it once did. That's going to be the turn back the clock value onto that generator over at 10, as well as we do get a Kagune tag onto Zalapi. We can follow up the chase here, not worry about the tunnel out. We're going to be playing for the injures and potentially just resetting the game just a little bit. And if this is a very quick down, which it well and truly can be, that will be another pain resonance allocated towards us, which will make for even a slower match, which could potentially be really problematic for our survivors. Zalapi, that's a cold bucket, buddy. Oh, Santa Claus gave you the wrong present for Christmas. My god, he has just gone down on the back half of main, and all of a sudden it's looking like problems for the survivors after a well thought out start and a well executed start at the beginning there, Peaches.
Yeah, that beginning chase with the double Z-wall was crazy, but not much to show for it. And that really just goes to show that just because you have long chases and amazing chases, if the survivors aren't sitting gens or later in the matches getting resets or doing something, it really means nothing. I mean, we saw the pain res over there at 2. We use the turn back the clock. We're using the full extent of our perks to plan the eruption. But so L5D, despite the start there, because the chase is also taken in the corrupted area, which is perfect for the beginning of the match. That's the exact spot that the survivors want to chase. It's away from the active generators, but yeah, L5D is going right back to their tunnel. We can see the unhook onto Zalapi here. Back to this pallet here where he got stuck at the coal bucket here. They do make it over to another pallet. Ooh, nice turn back the clock onto the very. I guess it wasn't that high progress of a gen, but yeah. I mean, it looks like we have to call in for a body block because it looks like we were going to be able to use our bloodlust to get the hit on him. Try to swing around. Oh my goodness gracious! Well played by L5D using his bloodlust and getting the hook, getting the slap around the body blocking. We're still following it up with a nice bite onto Ray. This is looking phenomenal for L5D. We can definitely see why they picked this killer and hooking right back toward the top side of the map. And oh my gosh, Hunter, look at this disgusting gen spread that we have here. Look how close these generators are. We have 1 main 11 and 10 is like tucked in toward main, and we get the bite onto Cahill lurking around the back of main. This is not looking good for the side of the survivors of Celestial. This is the RNG. Oh my gosh, we do get the unhook onto Zalapi regardless, but we do not want them to make it to the bottom half of the map, so we're gonna try and body block them. Not quite able to. They will make it to the middle of the area. I think they do make it to this pallet. They do get the drop, and we will just go for the pallet break. But if L5D can keep them in this middle area and get the down and hook around here, they'll be able to slingshot themselves back toward the top side and protect that fortune that is so deadly. Although Zalapi is making the best of the chase, making this jungle gym work for him over here at 9, going for the bite over the pallet. I don't know if they can make it back toward the pallet. They don't make it back toward the pallet. L5D gets the hit onto them, and this will be the tunnel out onto Zalapi at 5 generators. I guess that is very fitting for L5D, don't you think, Hunter?
Yeah, definitely. We're just not able to really make a safe location. That's going to be the slap on the hook too. Some disrespect there. Not too sure why that was the case. Better be watching your back a little bit later on in the series here, L5D. You might make yourself some mean enemies as we do take the Kagune tag onto Alex G. We've taken control of the top half of the map once more. The turn back the clock value is just breaking these gens apart here over at top. So going to be taking the break over at main, still looking for our next chase of the game as we did get an injured just moments beforehand. This is 2 survivors injured, 1 healthy. Cahill just stealthing around the map somewhere probably. They're going to be probably splitting up between top and bottom. We do see scratch marks here over towards 8, and yeah, Cahill was just over at top all along. Ray going to be in chase over towards bottom half, bottom mid. Does elect to greed the filler there and does have usage of the shack pallet and window if he chooses to do so, but L5D straight back on the case over towards top, and my god, those generators are just mean. There's one over at 1 behind main 11 and 10, and that's just the tightest forge. It doesn't get any tighter than that here over at Suffocation Pit 1, but gonna be utilizing our tentacles to get a clean vault over towards main, and I think this survivor is healthy actually. No, it's a Cahill gonna be taking up chase after the window vault. Slow vaults back into main and does win the 50s. Hold on, 200. Here we go. Block of the window. No, it's 150 if it's blocking the window, but regardless, gonna be dropping that pallet there on the outside of main, and does actually only have this to be working with, does not have anything within his vicinity. Maybe he can break away and make top mid, but I don't know, it's looking extremely unlikely. Around the coal buckets we go, and we're going to be trying to make that pallet over towards 2. It's a little too far out of our reach, and we will be just going down before the generator here over it too. Now going to be taking the break onto it as well, getting that eruption proc in before we get any sort of pain resonance or turn back the clock value going for us. One laid out ever so nicely here. It's going to be 2 utilized here, so that's going to stop all the progression. I'm not too sure where the survivors are working at the moment, but you would anticipate they'd be over at bottom side as we do see Alex G rotating towards 3, trying to hide behind all the edge map fillers, but L5D's caught him in an unsavory position, and we are cutting him off from making the rotation back into mid, trying to swing him through the pallet with the short ones, but not quite connecting, unfortunately, as we do go for the double back here. We are really trying to block the window, and Alex G doing the smart thing just to stop at the window and looks both ways. He's going to be able to use the window once more, and then that's just going to allow him to use whatever the hell he wants over towards mid, but he's opted to still play this R&L war as there is still a pallet just lifted up for us. We are not able to throw it in time. It's going to be the Firecracker doing us no justice, and we do see the pull happen in the background, I believe, but no, we didn't. Oh no, it's problems here. We've intercepted the generator over at 8, and we only have these fillers to be working with, and we're winning the mind game slightly. No, we do. Oh, Ray's just allowed to last just a little bit longer. It is a long filler, so it's going to be pretty hard to be working around. But that's a zone break as well, so he only really has Shack to be working with. He's going to run and use that pallet, and no, he's opted to greed it here, and we've latched onto him, but lucky we didn't throw it. I mean, it's just allowed us to put our killer in the naughty corner over at Shack and just buy ourselves some distance to not really make anything at all. Ray just caught at a loss here. Does not have any other pallet or window to be working with other than the one over at Shack. That's a really weird swing you're going for, buddy. I know you're on 125 MS, but would be a nasty one to connect with. Still trying the mind games here. Really trying to force the error onto Ray. Get for something flicky or fancy as well, even get a body block in, stop the rotations and whatnot. Alex G, if he does bleed out fresh, at least the 4K4 will not be a tie condition for next match around, but Ray's chase, this needed to happen a little bit earlier on in the trial. Unfortunately, it did at the very beginning of the game, but it didn't mean much as we were just... Wow, we're really swinging through these, my god. Going through the motions even, and we're winning all kinds of vaults as well, and we're getting too far into our heads. How are we losing the short filler on too many times? We're even baiting out the dead hard, and it did not work out in our favor, unfortunately. That will be Ray on the ground. That's going to be another hook. Alex G still somewhere crawled off into them. He's just stayed at the pallet. He knows that it's just pretty much game over. Yeah, Peaches?
Yeah, I kind of, I can't say I expected this result. I mean, I know we were on the high ping. I think a little bit in the background, we were just thinking, oh man, the killer's gonna be at a little bit of a disadvantage, but.
I got it, and we're bringing us into the last half of the goal set. This is still only set 2 of the series, and we are heading into about an hour and 35 minutes on stream. This is going to be kind of crazy, but Ray, 4K5 on the cards here, needs to do well, needs to put on the oh, I don't even know what you want to call them, the performing shoes of some sort. I don't know. You know, you ever seen like Mike in the sneakers that gave the boy abilities? I think this is what needs to happen in this instance. But as we do take the pallet stun onto our killer's head here, Ray is going to commence the chase over towards mid 2, and we are going to be trying to get that initial first tag onto our survivors. It doesn't quite connect, but unless at least we do manage to get the enraged status effect, where we are going to be taking a hit onto our survivor as well. So it's just as good as a Kagune tag, only we just do not get the wounding status effect. And then we do see scratch marks here rotating from the middle of the map, really trying to get that generator out of the way. And it's good to not be caught out in that position, but it's also a good generator to get some progress on and try to actually break up all of the spread. So Macro had the right idea. Granted that Ray did commit the chase, but I don't think he was going to overcommit anything he didn't need to. We are going to be pre-dropping this pallet. Macro now going to be playing around 7, but does not really have anywhere to go other than Shaq, and we've opted to greed Shaq entirely and try to play around the 50s. Ray just narrowly missing that swing over the pallet then has unzoned Macro to be able to use Shaq even as well now. So the 1v1 commences. What can we do from here? How about we divert entirely and go for a Kagune tag onto L5D, the Ada Wong? I like that idea, and I hope you do too, because Ray is on the front foot right now, really trying to close in that distance and get that down really quickly. But you know what, as I say that, we are just going to be trying to play around our tags, and we have brought in a fairly weird perk. Obviously, forced penance being something, when it does get value, tends to be very problematic. But in these instances, with 3 tags on the board, nobody has gotten affected with broken status effect. We do see one generator in the trial progress in the proc in the background, sorry. And, you know, stock standard for the other side of the build, I guess. We have corrupt intervention, eruption, and pain resonance. Oh my god, the disrespect on L5D. Why, oh, why is he such a greedy man? And we just swing at the window, not knowing that he's just sent it all the way to the pallet instead of vaulting again. Really trying to take advantage of that pink hit, but not quite connecting for Ray. Really trying to cut him off around the pallet too, and he's playing very well right now to be able to last this long, and does pre-drop very nicely, wins another 50 as well, and he's just playing around the rock there, and force broken in towards Shaq once more. Ray does not see an opportunity to actually leave this chase, as you know, it would be pretty unfavorable to do so. We are not going to be getting any sort of vault there. It's just going to be the Kagune tag onto L5D, and we get back into Enrage. Hopefully we can get a body block around the pallet this time around, but he's counteracting the movements so well. 1-2 dash, and we're still just forever chasing L5D. All in the meantime, we're just going to be slamming out top and potentially even mid to break up the gens for a nice split in the later games. This is exactly the chase you needed to happen if you are on the side of scouts. We are going to be vaulting the window that time around, and I don't think we have enough time to rotate to the window again. We are going to be dropping the firecracker and waving the down there. What a crazy good chase from L5D. Not as in respect from Ray as well, acknowledging the fact that he has competition right now here, Peaches.
That was absolutely a phenomenal chase, and that's just some of the awesomeness I love seeing against the Ghoul. That's why I love the Ghoul. I love seeing the killer and survivors aspect. I don't understand why people don't like, you know, the game, the auto hits with the bite, but once you get the bite out of the way, it's basically just it's not all that bad to chase. And clearly, as we saw, L5D put on a clinic against the Ghoul and just played off their movements so well. But yeah, with that second gen popping, that is the set win for Scouts. So that is 1-1. Of course, we're still going to play it out to get the best result possible going into the tiebreaker set. So we do find 7 over here at 4. We did get the bite onto them. They will make it over 2-3. Make it over the pal. We'll get the vault over it. We do get the vault, but will we vault into the killer? Yes, Ray gets the body block onto the pallet. 7 was not quite able to time the vault into the killer, so this will be the down onto them, and we will get a nice pain res in this top mid area. I didn't get a too good of a look of what the gen spread is looking like right now. We got main 1, and I think it is might be a 2-2 split possibly, but yeah, it is a 2-2 split. So these gens are not going to be hold one. Ooh, a little ambitious swing at the main window. We do catch a Macro over here, making their way over to the 10 side of main, and all we have is this not very good pallet. Can we time it? Yes, we do time it, and the bolt into the window. Very well played. My Macro getting that bolt through the killer and into the next window, connecting it all the way around it. And they might be able to make it to the window. They do make it. Wait, what? I'm sorry. Wait, what? Did Ray? Wait, what? They didn't look like, at least to me, they did not look like that they body blocked that window. But I guess Ray's tendrils might have just been slightly in the way, and Macro was not able to get by, I guess.
I think sometimes it pays off to eat the sides, or at least all of the sides over in McDonald's sometimes. You know what I mean? Peepo Fat in the doorway, not allowing to use the window. Crazy work from Ray, but he is going to be taking up the second chase here onto L5D, and he'll want his revenge, even though we can't meet the win condition here because it was blown way out of proportion moments ago with all those gen pops as a result of the first chase here. Oh, well, actually, I think it was a little bit before L5D's chase even. We'll at least want to get our revenge, get this bro on the floor, and get our BMs in, because this guy is just been an absolute menace, sorry. Oh, no. Oh, just to top it all off. Wow, this guy is just the problem. Get him off the set, my God. Anyway, Ray now getting the frustration. He's probably getting a little bit frustrated at this point, because I know I definitely will if it's just the way that I'm getting just casting it. But he's playing absolutely incredible, and you're really going to tip your hat off to him, because he's just winning all kinds of 50s here. Ray really struggling. Just break the damn pallet and eat the Kevin trap at this point, because he's just winning everything, and he's just, he's not timed the vault there correctly, unfortunately. It will be him going down, and that's mighty fortunate stuff for Ray, because if we didn't, that would have been even more problems on the board, and it would have been even for a longer chase. We do manage to get the hook here over at 5 Ray with the tentacles back towards middle. Does catch off somebody here, rotating for the save preemptively. It's going to be our Tory Mill, who is going to be eating this tag here, and straight back into the wounded status effect. Does manage to get the pull. Oh no, doesn't. Why did we not get the pull there? I thought we would have made that, definitely. Oh my God, and the preemptive swing almost worked, but we've just narrowly missed it. The teabag's coming in as well. Oh, you gotta be careful, because this may actually fall underneath the category of excessive BMing, and we don't want to be risking that underneath any capacity. This will be Mill on the floor there. We do get L5D up and at them as well. Traverse of the tentacles here. Ray is going to be spotting out around the rock. This is going to be 7, just hauling at us all the way into corner 5, but doesn't have anything to go on. A little bit of an FOV tech to kind of meme around, but pick up straight back on the hook there. And I dare say they're going to be going for all outs this time around. Probably get everybody reset. We do see broken status effect onto Mill, and I do believe that was the result of forced penance, but straight back latched onto L5D. We got 3 dashes here again after being enraged, but I don't think we're going to be able to down anyone anytime soon. There's the pickup in the background as well. Going to be trying to eat the tag is Tory. They did 99 the door. It has not been opened, and I don't even think it's been properly 99, as we did try to get the door pop, but unfortunately, in the corner, we go down, and we are just going to be hooking our Tory Kane just in front of it, where we can potentially camp out all remaining stages onto her for at least the 1K, and that will be the result of a... What result would that be if I do quick maths in my head? 1, 2, 8 stages? Yeah. I mean, potentially 7 if we can get them off, but wait, it's 6-4 at the moment.
So we're at 7 right now. We're at 4-7 right now.
Well, with the minus penalty is 6.5. I'm actually.
Oh, right. Right.
Anywho, yeah, no, it's still a fairly good game for Ray. I just think spent a little too much time chasing L5D. I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, given the win con, it was going to be rough regardless. Very nice buy blocking, though, with it getting a lot of tags around here. We're getting a ton of forced penance value, and Ray's able to cut them off from the gate. We might be able to get a couple more stages. I think we want to go for Macro. They're worth the most. We see them making their way into main. Mill taking a little bit of some BT hit, but it looks like we are wanting to settle for 7. We'll get the down onto them. Maybe we'll get a little bit sluggy and maybe go for more. No, we'll just be happy with taking 7 out of the game. At least get 1K. So this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4-8, not too shabby of a result, but yeah, that is good evening, everyone. We are on to our tiebreaker set. Just to give a quick update of like what happened in the previous ones. Both of the teams took their set picks. Celestial took the Demogorgon set. Scouts took the Ghoul set. So on paper, that makes sense. Everyone's happy. Everyone's took their set. It's the one that they picked. So now, changing it up quite a bit, as I was mentioning before going to the intermission. Dr. Dead Sans for the tiebreaker. very, very different from the previous sets. And it's a different map. It's not Cold Tower or Supple Pit 1. I am so happy I could cast standing up right now. But no, I'm going to sit down and get ready for this matchup. And I'm excited to see what kind of builds. This is a little different of a build that you normally see from the Doctor, at least from what I've seen. Nothing too crazy, because we do see the Corrupt Intervention and the Painter as sloppy. We don't see Brutal Strength too much. We normally see the Brutal in like the 1v1s. Normally we see something maybe like Rapid Brutality or Save the Best for Last or Ruin sometimes. But Brutal will definitely be interesting, maybe wanting to shorten the chases just a little bit and really force the survivors to pick and choose which palace that they want to drop and really rely on the altruism of their teammates. But yeah, we do catch out Mill over here toward 8, kind of making their way over toward Shaq. We did see Macro, I think they're trying to bait chase a little bit. They're running a little bit of circles, a little bit in their own corner, but obviously we're not going to go for that. We want to continue this chase onto Mill toward the 12 side into the corrupted area. This is the spot that Mill wants the chase to be. This is away from the active generators, away from the uncorrupted, and this is a really nice tile to work around, and you could really read it for quite a bit, and even have some lockers around that we could possibly see some head on or see some altruistic plays. And oh, not quite able to check spot it though. We run straight into the arms of our killer, and we do get the first down onto Mill. And we do see it. I think we have a nice pain res spread so far from what I'm seeing, but yeah, this is a pretty good start for Ray so far, Hunter.
It definitely is, and just touching up on the build a little bit as well, going for both brutal and sloppy just isn't something you necessarily see, especially when you're sacrificing a big perk being obviously Eruption. But I think we're going to be playing our 3v1 if we get to it with the sloppy butcher, more so as to oppose of just the likes of Eruption. But in conjunction, sloppy butcher and Eruption can tend to be a problem, so I'm wondering why we've actually opted to bring brutal strength. But as I say that, we are getting rid of a lot of resources pretty quickly, so that's probably the reason why sacrificing for a little bit of regression for the late game in the early game. And Ray is going to be taking that shock straight back onto the case over towards the unhook that just happened. Mill back in chase now, being our tunnel out. Does only have this pallet here over at 7, and this really long wall to chain it into. A body coming in from our near Carson 7 as well, and getting a shock there just before the pallet, not allowing our survivor to drop it, so they are just kind of held at this point in time. And has failed body block as well. You really need those to be hitting if you are going to be playing for body blocks. Otherwise, you're just kind of sitting there, kind of just obsolete at that point, not really being able to do much but just running around the map and playing in twos for no damn reason. But it's a mean basement hook as well, as we do get the first generator and the trial proct in the background. We are just going to be sitting on top of the shack here. We don't really have any real reason to venture too far off, especially when we intercept this generator here over at midnight. We do get 11 done as well. We do have Static Blast up and in effect, and that's going to dob out any survivors of just kind of stealthing about. Going for this trade is going to be a very hard push, and I don't know if the survivors will even risk it at this point. Maybe they just opt to 3-split the gens and hope for a last-minute chase that could potentially lead us into the 6-2 game. It's definitely what it could be, but Ray putting on some absolutely incredible pressure over towards 6, not allowing our survivor to be working that generator there, and he's going to rotate after just wasting enough of that time over at 6. More towards 3, we are going to be pressing off the survivor who is working this generator here, but he has to be careful that he does not lose the hook, as we are currently looking back to see if we can sight out anybody going for the rotation, but we don't do so any at the moment. So after getting that shock in, we are just sitting on top of main once. Sorry, on top of main. Yeah, I guess you can go as main. On top of Shack once more. Static Blast in hand. Can we spot anybody out here? No. Maybe they're in the locker. I don't really know what the plan of the survivors is here, but yeah, they've just left Mill to die and opted to go for the gen pressure, which is definitely what I assumed. But with incredible pressure put on from our killer to negate the pressure from the survivors, we have ultimately led ourselves into a situation where we don't really have anything to show for. We got half gen on 3 different generators here, and it's not as much as I would have thought if we actually played this a little bit more so, but I guess having the crazy coverage from Ray just really took the control of the game back into his hands. And as we do chase L5D here, can we get a revenge on him from last game? But this is a very long loop to be working with. It's a short one as well. You can see the Doctor over it, so you can't do any wacky mind games, but you can get your shocks in, and ultimately it will lead into the Survivor's demise, as you just saw so there. Pain Resonance straight behind us to get the ball up and running once more and to stop the pressure just a little bit. But look at that. They got it done just in time. L5D lasting just a little bit longer to allow his survivors to be working those gens and getting them popped. Now, Static Blast goes back in hand. Can we dob everybody in? We only get one survivor, meaning the rotating survivor coming from 5 is potentially going to be working that gen over at 6. And like clockwork, it does happen, but we're pressing them off there, off of the generator. We're pressing the hook survivor too. Maybe they just sit over towards the generator that's mid-9, but we have gone very deep into this 5 filler here, which will allow Macro to get the pool unhurt. And 7 still yet to be tagged here at the window, does so right about now. Up goes our survivor L5D off the hook as well. At the cost of the pressure, this is definitely worth it in the 3v1. You want all 3 survivors in the trial. The only time you could really leave somebody on the hook is if you had adequate gen pressure to do so, meaning something that's like about to pop about 70% of the way done and the hooks just happened. That's the only really time you can leave them on the hook, but as I say that anyway, we are going to be trying to get this tag onto Macro for Sloppy Butcher to take into effect. Now, the question is, do the survivors go for a reset or do they go for the gen pressure? They definitely can go for the gen pressure, but if they do so, they're susceptible to the M1 and they have to last. Now, Ray knows that. He's going to be just playing his tags, going straight back to the generators, not overcommitting anything, but with line of sight on everything, he knows it's safe just to commit this ACL.
Absolutely, yeah. We doing a lot of mind games here, and playing the TNLs against the Doctor can be pretty dangerous, especially if Ray is able to time their shocks right. We can just be running straight into the window, not able to get the prompt. And yeah, we are gonna walk down Ray over here, or sorry, Ray's gonna walk down Macro over here, but they do make it pretty far into the corner. It is pretty far away from the gen spread, so Ray will have to hold them pretty far. And yeah, there's I don't know if they can. That's a pretty long hook. I think they will just barely make it to the painters here at 12, but once again, it is far away from the generators. He's gonna have to, Doctor's just an M1 killer that doesn't have any crazy movement, anything to help him get around. So we just had to just use our 2 feet and just make our way toward back toward the bomb side. Try to do some shock on the top side, trying to catch out who might be the one going for the save here. We do see L5D making their way toward 7 toward 8 kind of area, and that might be trying to bait the killer away so L5 so 7 can get the unhook and maybe see which. I'm not even sure which generator has a lot of progress. I think 6 has some good progress. 9 has a little bit. Oh my gosh, Ray just sniped L5D through the 8 pallet, although we do make it over through 9 and make our way up to 10 a little bit. But oh my gosh, you hate to see it from L5D. And I don't think they passed quite correctly over to the pallet. I think Ray will get the down right here, and it is right next to basement, so this is a perfect spot to get the down. And yeah, Ray chooses to go for the basement hook. Ray is, I think we're just gonna see a 4K1 here, because I mean, the basement's like right in the middle of the 3 generators that are remaining, and we can have full line of sight of them. And of course we have the the shock that can just catch out anyone that's trying going for the save, or just shock away at the gens to keep the survivors off the gens and keep them from progressing. This is, anything can happen. I mean, we could have a fumble, but Ray would have to completely yeah. I think this might result in a 4K1 here, Hunter.
It should be all clear for that consensus from here on out, Peaches, if we're able to really hold on it as far as our killer goes. He's just going to be checking over at 9, knows there's no pressure to be really worrying about, even over here, or bottom 6. They have no pressure because they went for a reset when we took the chase onto Macro over at 9, and that's kind of the trade that I was talking about, is if you go for a reset, you risk no pressure, and they did so over it towards 12, and what the hell is happening here? Why can we not down him? That's like twice where I thought the guy should at least go down. Let's hit his hitbox, please. Not too sure what was happening there. Maybe a little bit of ping involved because it was very deceiving. Anyway, hooking here over at 6 as well, straight in the middle of all of the action here, is just going to slow the game down even more. Remember, we do not have Eruption to hold on to these generators here, but it does not matter, as the Sloppy Butcher is really tanking at the moment, and getting rid of these resources very quickly is kind of compensating for the fact that we don't really need the extra perk to hold on to the generators at the moment because there's no resources for allow good chases, I guess, or long chases. But we do also spot out our injured survivor, L5D. This is the one we want as well because they are out of the trial if they go down at the Z-Wall. Does not have anything to be working with and has ran and headbutted our killer Zinedine Zidane style. That's going to be them on the floor. Macro off the hook as well. No pressure on the map too. And now Ray just going to be taking this hook and is definitely looking like 4K1 territory. You will ideally want to hook 7 at some point just to negate the fresh hook being a problem in any instance. Granted the fact that our killer next up will 4K1 in that scenario, but we do manage to find out Macro and we're pretty content with just chasing this here. We don't actually want to go back and find 7. Doesn't really matter at this point. If you do down Macro, you have to hook him centralized to the map and then just shut the hatch, go back to your patrol in the exit gates around 12 and 9 and just use your static blast to find out the remaining survivor 7 where you can just solidify the 4K1 in all of its glory. We do see 7 slamming out 6 for the 4K0 and this could potentially work given the fact that maybe our killer just doesn't catch on to that. He's going to play it safe and go for the hatch shot, I do believe. I don't think there's any real reason for him to go on gen patrol at the moment. Planted himself very nicely in the middle of the shack. This is going to deny the generator actually because once you shut the hatch, it's going to force the end game collapse. Ray is over at the case over at 9. Does spot out our survivor. Gonna have one final chase for good sportsmanship. Moonwalks coming in. Very nice moonwalks from 7 himself. Going for a little bit of short swing through the pallet. Not quite connecting there. That's a nice slide as well, but we've just stood in front of the killer and we're just getting the games rolling, you know, because we don't want to be here forever. So you really applaud these guys for their sportsmanship, aside from the fact that we will tee back in like no tomorrow in the previous set. Result in the long run. You did see it happen twice, I do believe, throughout that trial. If it's not twice, it was at least once where our tunnel out at their second stage was just in the middle of everything. And that 3-gen in the end really came back to hurt them and hinder them in the process. You had the likes of 9, I think it was 7 and 6. Just very shocking stuff to be able to try and work around realistically. The doctor can just sit around shack more towards Central 6 and just push survivors off, as you did see. Yeah, they're down onto Macro over in the corner as well. And it's just, it can get really ugly very quickly. And hopefully for this time around, that is not the case. I know this being a fan favorite for Celestial, the survivors are locked in on this set. They do tend to pull low stage outs, and the man for the job this time around was L5D. I do believe, no, they weren't the tunnel out last time. I think it was Millie. I'm not too sure if I can just remember. Yeah, it was Mill. It was Mill. Anyway, doesn't really matter this time around. L5D on the killer right about now, and interesting. Game of foot in third of chase. No corrupt intervention though. Yeah, the add-ons will always be the same.
If I can chime in here, this is actually really cool to see. I don't think I've seen that build on any doctor builds here in the APAC region. Normally we see those in like the EU and NA region. It was very super popularized like by those top teams like Elysium and Invictus and those up there in the top region across the pond. And seeing it on this build is really cool to see. The Fear to Chase in the Game of Foot combo with the Ruined Painters. Honestly, I'm excited to see what L5D can do with this. This actually seeing the build completely lit up my face, and this is the exact survivor that we want to see. This is Ray. If we can get them on the hook, we'll get the Fear to Chase going. We'll get the haste in the undetectable status plus the Game of Foot. We're going to be cruising around each of these areas. But although the one downside here now with L5D, as I pointed out earlier, Ruin was cleansed immediately. It got absolutely 0 value. So we do see the double drop pallets. We only break the 1, and try to do some mind games around here, trying to catch out Ray. But we're just gonna hold W all the way toward 3, using this long wall to make it over to 4. I think they will make it over to the wall. They do make it over to the pallet over here. They get the drop on it, and now we have to shock over. We have to do some 50-50s here. Will we make it over the pallet? Oh, we win another one. But this is your time. I'm not gonna take your wording, but that is the we're at, I think at $100 now.
Yeah, counting the 50s, about 100, but this extended the chase just a little bit more. We'll eventually be caught with Gamer Foot in hand, 7%, extra 7% there. It's going to be Ray on the floor. First generator popping in the background as a result of this chase, so we're already setting ourselves up for a very good game in the late run. So L5D just going to be taking this hook here more towards central 12 on top of this nice vantage point where it's going to negate the pressure over towards, I believe, mid 4, if that was the most highly progressed generator in the trial, but it could potentially even be 9, as we have seen a survivor rotate off of it momentarily. And that's going to be our ace just running into the loving embrace of our killer there. It's going to be a quick tag and the extra 10% to follow up with furtive chase. Here we go. Can we take advantage of it? No, it's gone now, but it would have evaded us a little bit if we didn't break the pallet, maybe potentially, or if we were in a better spot to use it. However, going back for that break onto the generator there, no, we've opted to go back for the tunnel out over towards the pool there. So we can drop from the hill at any given time where it's deemed safe to do so. L5D are going to be faking going up the hill there, and it does so successfully. We are going to be bobbing and weaving through the pallet, waiting for the hit tag to come in, and the ping a little too much for our survivors to be working with. That's going to be our Lara Croft on the floor, and the pickup as well, all for it to be done all over again, and it's going to stop the pressure over at 9 as the hooks here are more favorable towards our killer. Have we left it entirely? And I dare say we should have a long time ago. We have, and it has bugger all on it. I don't think it ever had anything at all on it. Now, I'll be brutally honest with you, as we've been kind of stuck in the eyes of L5D for the whole trial. So maybe if we get a flick around to what the survivors are doing, that would be much appreciated, Mr. Spectator, to see what the plan of action is here, because we know what the killer's is. He has a hook here over towards mid 9, oh sorry, edge map 9. He can just kind of sit here in the middle and just pressure the gens all in the meantime, pressuring the hook. And look at this 3-gen. It's almost the same as last game, but it's kind of different. You have the likes of mid 8 to mid 9. You have deep 9, and you have 7 as well, central 7. Oh, that's an ugly looking hook to be dealing with as well. They'll want to obviously smash out the remaining generators over more towards 2 and 12, I guess. They're trying to single trade the doctor as well, so hopefully maybe we have another survivor in this vicinity ready for the pull alongside of Cahill. And yeah, there it is like clockwork. Zalapi ready for the job here. We are going to be taking that M1. The nice body block coming in, and that's going to just be the trade successful there. Oh my god, and that, wait, hang on a second. Who did we hit there? Wait, was that Medal of Man or something? What the freak? Hold on.
I think we hit the hook. I think we hit the hook animation.
Oh no, we did. Yeah, we did. There's no wounded. There's no wounded. Okay. My god.
I cannot believe the pressure. Oh my gosh, all these injuries across the board. We don't have Sloppy Butcher, so the resets should be able to come in, but that's a lot of pressure on the side of L5D being able to spread that around, and we are still trying to get Ray out the door, and the obsession transitioned over to Slappy, so we will still get more period of chase value in the future, but we really need to make this chase. Like, we gotta end this now, because we're at 3 generators remaining of, I'm sorry, 2 generators remaining of 1 more pops that will be at the Tycon. So yeah, we need to get this down, turn this 3v1, and taking advantage of our injured survivors. But Ray is just taking the full distance of this loop, and I don't think they can make it back to this pallet. No, they do not. And we do see some aura over there around Shack, but yeah, this will be the tunnel onto Ray. 2 generators remaining, and this is pretty far away from the 3-gen that we have here. We have one at, what was this, 12, 9, and 8, kind of looking like. So it is going to be pretty hard to pull in that 4th gen. The 4th gen is over on the right side of the map. It is further away from the 3-gen. So this will be pretty difficult for L5D to hold this. But if we are able to find Alex and get the down of them while they're still in their clean break, then a lot of pressure will be back on the side of L5D. So we do see here the pallet drop here, but this is Zlappy over here trying to work on this generator over here. I think this is over at 2. We're holding our W down all the way down to 4, maybe make it over to 5. That is a better tile to work on, but we're just gonna hold our distance, wrap around the rock a couple of times, take the killer on a tour around the map, and we will get the tag onto them. Not quite. Yeah, they will make it with that hit. They will make it over to 5, and this chase is going a little bit longer though. I think we really need to we need to wrap this up. Kind of L5D realized that, and it's away from the active generators. Look at that, pulling them all the way to 5, and yeah, L5D has to leave, because I mean, even with the death being down there, and sure maybe there's a painter somewhere down there, it just wouldn't matter, because I mean, the other two survivors would just be able to split the gens and get so much pressure on the board. So we will leave them. We will find Kyle over here at 11, trying to make their way to 12, maybe trying to make it to the right side of the map. I think that is the favorable spot to for a death spot. Swinging at the window, and oh, we just barely get the tag onto Kyle, and now we get the obsession onto them as well. We see a little bit of aura on kind of near 3 over here. We see, yeah, we have we now know we're both injured survivors are at it. So if we get this down onto Cahill pretty quick, we will be able to get the feeder chase value and speed our way over to Zlappy. And yeah, we have nothing else to work with. This is a fairly good spot. It is kind of away from the bulk of the generators, but there's a painters around here. Doesn't look like there's any painters around. So I don't think we can make it to 1. That is a little greedy here, especially I think the hills. Oh, okay, it is open on this side, so I think we will just barely make it. Oh, thank you, Mr. Spectator, seeing the survivor. That was really, really close. So there was one more body block or even just a stagger, that would have been Kyle getting off of the shoulders of our killer. But yeah, we do have this fear to chase here. We see Alex here working away at this 9 generator. This is looking pretty not too good for the side of Celestial. L5D is just in lockdown mode. It just one chase after the other. I guess very fitting with the perk fear of chase, but this is looking rough. I mean, they will be able to get the resets off without the Sloppy Butcher. And yeah, you see the aura. Yeah, he's even be confident in taking this chase. He saw the aura. They're doing a double reset over here. And yeah, so we can just pick this and get our pain res. And yeah, no, we're just gonna keep putting on the pressure. This is looking extremely difficult for the side of Celestial. L5D is in the hot seat right now here, Hunter.
Yeah, after getting a tunnel out so early, oh my god, and he's just able to hold on to the generators here at this point. He is trying to mind games here over at 12, but Zlappy not falling for any of it. Is able to just send it with the W's all the way down into 11, where there's just nothing here. No pallet in sight, no tile in sight, realistically. We're just really trying to make for a favorable death location, or at least to find something a little bit more loopable than what's given here. All in the meantime, you see in the background that unhook happened, but they need to reset, and it's going to prove to be problematic if they keep getting into chase like this. And now we're taking chase towards the actives here. If you're pressing the gens injured, you really need a last, and we're getting really spicy with those hits though. And we're trying the just unforgivable swings realistically. Ace going to be making a lot of distance there, Alex G, into a whole lot of nothing though. A dropped pallet to his disposal, but what after? Not really a whole lot. Does manage to win the 50 there, and that's exactly the kind of play that you need. They're doubling it. No, that's not the play, especially when the generator's so close to the chase there. We do manage to have these 2 pallets here up and upright. Going to be taking the break onto this one there. That's going to force our survivor back into the generator over at 9. It's going to be Cahill here, who does have this jungle gym to be working with no pallet to his avail. He is just trying to haul us back to 12, all for another circle here. Really trying to press off that generator. Look at the aura value we're getting. We can see somebody over at 9. This is crazy. That's going to be the break of the pallet there. The down onto Cahill, the pickup even as well. And just going to be another hook just straight into the smack bang middle of everything where, you know, look at our generators that are dispersed at the moment. Oh my god, 9 gets done, and it's at least the time where we can run it back, but it's not over yet. Zlappy still being fresh at the moment. If Zlappy dies entirely, that will be the win for Celestial. Now, we do see Zlappy over at the top side of the map there. Oh, in the corner of 1, he's been dobbed out, but he has to have a chase on here, and Alex G is kind of forced to go for the pull onto Cahill. Greeting the window there is going to be Zlappy. Shocked so they can't utilize the window. No pallet to be dropped here. This is just holding our survivor hostage until we can eventually get the down in before 12, which has so much progress on it. It's about 60% of the way, honestly. That is a force to be reckoned with a little later on. We get Cahill nice and healthy, and the clean break coming in from Alex G all in the meantime as well. L5D going to be getting this hook onto Zlappy. He does have a lot of time to spare. Now, this is the exact scenario where we can slow down the game. But even so, breaking up at that 3 gen over towards 9 and then onwards to 12, we do have another one there. Actually, 9 onwards to 12. I'm sorry, I'm talking about the on 10 onwards to 2 now. Oh no, I'm losing. Sorry, I can't do maths. We did pop 9, I guess, which was close enough for a tight 3-gen. This one's a little bit of a loose 3-gen, or top side is what more so what I was getting at. But we do see Cahill here trying to utilize the window, and we don't make it. We get hit just before it. Now, our one saving grace being Alex G in this scenario, right? Being the broken survivor, being the one that does have the clean break, needs to be healthy around the next coming few seconds. And we're trying to take a really nasty proc hit from our Zalapi unhooked survivor there and has he's been freaking
Oh,
shot over the window. If he made that, it was
oh.
like if he made that, it was problems, and that would have put the game to be in a spot where you know what it's looking pretty dangerous. But I think the survivors. No, that's not going to work. Never mind. Ignore me. I'm stupid. L5D going to be going back onto patrol of these in the middle of everything here. I just see the scratch marks leading in towards bottom, and he's going to actually follow up this chase here, but might leave after the tag, so we have to be careful. Zalapi all in the distance. Not sure what he's doing. Can we evade the tag for long enough, and that will be problematic for our killer. Has to win the 50 here, and does so. No! What is these hits, man? Oh, get it off my screen! Oh, anyway, you hate to see that. And we're going to be taking the kick onto 2. I'm not too sure what Zalapi's doing at this point in time, but honestly, not being healthy is a hindrance to him. He's not really able to do much because he can't be caught in a spot where the generators are. He'll just be hooked in front of them after he's downed, and he is very prone to a down at the moment, being only on 1 health state. Same with Alex G, and no clean break to save him this time. Also, no one in the trial, not enough survivors to get resets going. This is going to pretty much be the 4K1 solidified unless we can get somebody out at the hatch from here on out. Going to be going all the way into corner 5. We're going to be downing... Oh, corner 5? Corner 2, sorry. Alex G on the floor there. Now, I want to know, what does Zalapi do in this instance, do you think here, Peaches? Slam!
I think at this point you just I think you just accept that this is a tie. Take your last 1v1 at Shaq, and yeah, look at that. They're going immediately to Shaq, because I think you just gotta get ready for the double tiebreaker, because I mean yeah, there's nothing else. Yeah, Zalapi's accepted defeat. Gone into the basement. They want the basement hook. That's the place that they didn't want to die. So yeah, we will see the 4K1. I cannot believe we're seeing the tie. This is actually insane. Both of these teams, not one of them wants to give up this win.